Well, Western Australia is offering to hand over 8% of the state to Indigenous people. The bill that's being drafted by the Cook Labor government will smooth, quote unquote, the transfer of the vast estate known as the Aboriginal Land Trust, which covers 20 million hectares, including 284 parcels of land, 142 permanent Aboriginal settlements and 5 pastoral leases out of the hands of the state government and into the hands of Indigenous people. Well, joining me to discuss this is Pastoralists and Graziers Association WA President Tony Seabrook. Tony, your association played a major role in killing off Labor's heritage laws last year, which of course would have meant that if a farmer wanted to, put a post box at the end of his driveway or put a fence post into the ground, he would have had to have gone off and asked the local Aboriginal people, or more to the point, an Aboriginal Land Corporation, which wants a lot of money to do it, for permission. There are pastoral leases included in this land that is said to be handed over. Do you have any concerns?
Well, Callum, first of all, look, let's share the credit on this one, because if it wasn't for what you guys did and the coverage that we got over East, especially on Sky, I don't think we would have achieved the goal that we did. So, look, thanks a lot, guys, for that for a start. Look, this is typical Labor spin. It's unbelievable that they are making this out as though it's some great and magnanimous gesture. As you said earlier on, the Aboriginal Land Trust has held this land in trust since 1972. And my understanding is that you need to have a permit to go onto those lands. They have a veto over mining. It's not as if they've snatched a whole lot of land that was available to ordinary people and handed it over. You need to also ask yourself the question, what would Jacinta Price say about this? This is the separatism thing. Again, this is building a nation within a nation. And it's a bit of a worry, because there's more than that. It's a desperate worry, because we need to bring Indigenous people into our world, into our communities, get them educated, get them into trades and a whole raft of things, and just sort of maintaining and promulgating. You said 142 communities out there. My figures are a little bit less than that, but then I'm down to the point where I'm talking about communities that require police, teachers, medical people, water and sewerage. So, it's a very complex debate we're entering into.
Well, surely the other solution and the easier solution would be, instead of to hand all of this land over, 8% of the state's land mass, which, as I said before, includes farming land, pastoral land, you take the land that these communities sit on and simply hand them over to the people who live there. Because the crux of the issue, supposedly, is that the land that these people are living on is owned by the state government, so the people who live there are essentially tenants of the state government. So they want them to have some ownership of the land. Well, give them ownership of the houses that they're living in, give them ownership of the land that they're directly living on, and leave the rest as it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. You're right on the money there. The issue about the pastoral leases, that is a worry, because these are actual pastoral leases and they should not be put into a situation where they cannot be transacted. Now, that is really bad news, but it's only a small proportion of the pastoral leases that are there. But one of the big issues here is, and I'm led to believe that no matter what happens in this trust, it still doesn't give these communities or anyone in them any free title over their land. And you're not going to care for anything or treat it in the same way you might as if it was yours. So once again, look, it's just damn tokenism. And when I see the parlous condition, what's going on up in the Kimberley in particular, the drinking, the mayhem, there's a lot of fires being lit up north out of the attitude and the friction between Indigenous communities and the white communities. There's a lot more that a government with a true conviction and a bit of courage could do. And the cashless debit card, it's absurd that you give people that are basically addicted to alcohol the capacity to buy more and more of it. And most of all, we know about the kids that have been born with alcohol fetal syndrome, but what about the mothers that are pregnant right now and are drinking? For God's sake, let's do something about this and not just tokenism.
The wash-up after all of that business with the heritage laws, of course, the government scrapped them in the end. It feels like they've been hurting a little bit since then, and this is sort of their attempt to try and get over the defeat that you achieved.
Well, they deserve to hurt. What they did was reprehensible. They deserve to hurt. And I think the impact it had on the way the referendum unfolded was absolutely huge. People got a glimpse as to what the future might look like. But look, I'd ask the question here. The people of Australia spoke on The Voice. And to brand them as rednecks and ignorant, noisy people, that was a grubby thing to do. This was considered opinion of the majority of the people of Australia. The two leaders in this debate, Warren Mundine and especially Jacinta Price, they had some fabulous solutions and a way forward. And where are they? Are they being heard? The media, the press, ABC in particular, they just will not concede the fact that they got it completely wrong. And there are people out there that have a solution, and bring them into the room and start talking to them about what might be done. And unfortunately, look, you nailed it. This is a halfway measure that in the end, history will judge very, very poorly.
Well, you know, they could get all these people in a room. They could even call it a voice to Parliament if they really wanted to. They could legislate one tomorrow, just as they could have legislated one a year ago. But anyway, I won't hold my breath. Tony Seabrook, thank you so much for your time.